Where do I go after shelter? Updated. As you know, new players can gain up to 80 skill at an extremely fast rate in Shelter Dungeon. I would strongly suggest you take advantage of this, looting all the gold and vendor sellable items that you can muster, as every gold piece counts when you start out. Your first goals will be buying whatever codex or aspect you need to start your player progression systems. As a side note, see this video here for information on player progression systems. Moving on though, back to the topic at hand, where do we go after we hit 80 in all or most of our skills? You have the option to beat on a battle trainer, semi-AFK, or completely AFK, but bear in mind, PKs often come and like to get easy kills wiping out new players. So don't take anything of importance with you. Take a training weapon that you can buy from a blacksmith vendor and just fight naked. This will take your combat skills to max. But what if you don't want to AFK your skills? What if you want to make money while you're gaining your skills? While you train your skills? Well, here's a couple options. In my previous video in June 2022, I went in depth with Urkton Bluffs and a few other wilderness spots. So once again, check that out for more info on those, as those places are still completely viable. But today, let's talk about some other spots and new additions. First up, the newest addition of the new player dungeons, the Ratman Hovel. This dungeon just released October 16th of 2023. You can find it just west of North Pervelia, located here on your map. Upon entering, you will be greeted by simple Ratman monsters and giant rats. These are very basic and will drop 30 gold, maybe 160 on the major Ratman. Heading to the south, we actually have some plague Ratman that also drop an underwhelming 40 gold per. Bear in mind, these monsters have low hit points and are the entrance of the dungeon. Crossing this bridge here into the hut, we get some more difficult monsters, the Wild Rat and Rat Shaman. These can really overwhelm a new adventurer, so bring a friend or make sure and single pull them out. The Shamans drop roughly 220 gold and the regular Wild Rats drop about 150. Heading down into the bottom of the dungeon is where things start to get much more difficult, and I would not recommend going down here without being maxing your skills. Even then, make sure you're single pulling what you can and possibly with a small group of friends. The Storm Rats are much stronger and drop about 300 gold. The Wolf Rats also pack a mean punch for how small they are. Deeper in there are a few more Storm Rats, but the strongest minion of the Ratman Hovel is the Rat Pit Abomination. These hit pretty hard and have more hit points than anything else in the dungeon, but they do drop over 500 gold pieces. Again, I'd stress a new player not going down in this area alone. A better spot for a new player fresh in here is the west end of this dungeon. It's filled with more Wild Ratman Shamans, regular Ratmen, and giant rats. Here, I tell you to be cautious. Don't get overzealous and pull too many, as there are lots of different ones spawn points, so they could overwhelm you rather quickly. While down here, I noticed 3 exits. Where we came in, obviously, on the east end, another on the west end, and lastly, a red moon gate that teleports us out like any other red moon gate in a dungeon, allowing us to go to any town that we desire. If this dungeon interests you, then I'd suggest checking out Amish Hammer's video on it as well. He's a dear friend of mine and he did a really good job explaining this dungeon as well as he has lots of other great videos that a new player would definitely benefit from. Another new addition since our last video is the introduction of the Sanctuary region bonus. I'd suggest if you're a new player, you take advantage of this. This region bonus will turn that particular dungeon into Trammel, meaning no thieves can steal from you, no PKs can murder you. As a trade-off to this, loot is reduced in these dungeons, but as a new player, it will still suffice in helping you gain your codex and other player progression items. You can and should farm in these until you gain enough momentum that a death and losing a full loadout isn't as crippling as it is for a new player. Starting in level 1 of these dungeons, and as your player power increases, going deeper and deeper into the dungeon. Your Chivalry book has runes to all these dungeons in rotation, and there are moon gates back to town throughout the dungeon as well. In order to find which dungeon it is for that week, go to town and click one of these banners. It will give you a list of region bonuses. The one we are most interested in, as said earlier, Sanctuary. This will change every week on Friday. I wouldn't pay much attention to the other region bonuses yet until once again you're ready to go out into the world and lose a full loadout. I get it. As a new player, losing a full loadout is crippling. It sucks, it hurts, it makes you angry. Sometimes you just want to log off right afterwards, right? So heed my advice on this Sanctuary dungeon. I promise you, it is a really wonderful tool for a new player to gain their feet on the ground and get some momentum. And there you have it, guys. A couple places that you as a new player can go to just fresh right out of Shelter Dungeon. I want to shout out to the Patreons, the channel members, the subscribers on Twitch now. That's right, Twitch finally allows us to monetize our stream and stream on multiple platforms at once. Speaking of the streams, come by either Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Kick, or Twitter at 8:30 p.m. Eastern most evenings. We do have a goal for 10,000 subscribers here in 2023, so if you haven't already, please do me a favor, subscribe to my channel right here on YouTube and like it for that wonderful juicy algorithm. If you're feeling really generous, go ahead and drop a comment of your favorite emoji into the comment section, and at the end of next week, 1 week after this video is posted, I'll pick somebody at random to give a check for 100K. Other than that, guys, I'll see you next week. Pawn Star Gaming out.